So I'm doing some checks of the digital resumes and looking at yours. I like the title, Revolutionize Social Studies. And I do enjoy, as I was reading through your blogs and looking throughout your digital resume, you do grab some quotes and you do try to use those quotes to, I think, encapsulate some sense of what you're trying to do. So you touch the future you teach, and here's a little bit about you. And I like the layout. You might recenter this a little bit, but I'm not concerned about that aspect. It looks like you've got a place for everything, but there are some parts that you're going to want to start working on a little more. I like this right here. You've got your who you are and why you're doing this work, but you don't forget to fill it out. Now, we wrote this purpose in class, and so you can go back to that Padlet. It should be posted. You can go back and see everybody's purposes on the Knowledge Board, which is right here. If you go to our Blackboard page under the Knowledge Board, you'll find here Padlet work. All the work we've posted on Padlet I've been saving and then putting here for you. So you've got Lowen Thoughts in chapters 1 and 5, our conceptual views of social studies strands, and the purpose as social studies teacher. So if you open this up, there'll be a file that you can grab. Look, I misspelled purpose. But you can use that to then go in and at least put it here and then build on that. And perhaps here will be where you begin to put your philosophy, even though you do have a different spot for the philosophy down below, which is right here. Now I noticed this is not done yet. Remember, the philosophy doesn't have to be written. It could be created using infographics, or you might use some video to tell the philosophy. How do you answer what is good teaching, what is good learning, who is the educated person, what's worth knowing, and ultimately what is the purpose of school, and all of those through a social studies lens. Your blogs, the two blogs you have are good. I like both of them, but we want to make sure we're blogging a little more, and we're pulling in the reading. So you did write about doing history, which is a great chapter, and I like the quote that you grabbed right here. We need to do history, and the focus on local history, and I like that you're reflecting and you're seeing that you didn't have a lot of experiences with an active social studies environment is what it's sounding like. Thank you for this right here. That's very polite of you. And I like this too. You're focusing on this idea of inquiry and thinking about how amazing it would be to develop students' critical thinking skills, making those big compelling questions the focus of that classroom. So what is this idea of the C3 framework? You're right, the C3 framework seems intimidating, but at its base, it's asking a big question and letting the students investigate evidence to answer that big question. Going back, those were your blogs, so you want to make sure you're writing about the reading. Maybe I would try and write at least one or maybe two more before we get too much further into the semester. Look at the readings that we've been doing, and kind of put your own spin on how you're thinking about those readings. And make sure you start developing your philosophy as well. Right here, I like this. This is interesting, what I've learned thus far, but it looks like there's not social studies specific things here. I like the layout. I think it's a good layout for lesson plans. I would encourage you, you got your subject grade level, but what I don't see is like concept, or I don't see a compelling question or sub-question. So I think the one thing you might want to add to the lesson plan is concepts and questions. You've got your objectives, and then everything else. I like this approach. I think this works, and what I've seen from you looks good as well. So, love the smile, like the shirt, go teach. I think this is looking good. I think you have a good base, but we do really need to start adding a little more, and make sure you have a place for, this is going to be for your lesson plans and your notes and so much more. You're going to want to have a place for your unit, and you're going to want to have a place for your digital story as well, and your action research. So if you have any questions, we can discuss it, but I like how it's looking, but let's not forget about it, and let's get it back up to speed, okay? So keep developing it. Let's start pushing it forward and getting it up where we need it to be. Thank you.